Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from wherever you're watching or listening. My name is Caleb Glick. I'm a certified paralegal here in the great state of Texas with the Calhoun School of Law to bring you a lot of information plenty of bad folks would rather you not have. Today we're going to be providing another installation into our U.S. Constitution Amendment series going on number 12. So if you haven't gone back and watched 1 through 11, I would encourage you to go ahead and pause this lecture and do so to watch 1 through 11. Number 12 is going to be a more procedural amendment, so it's not going to be as necessary or beneficial to know or have at the forefront of your mind at all times because it's regarding elections. But before we get into number 12, I'm excited to announce that I published my first novel titled Lawfare, Abolish the American Bar Association. If you're curious about the foundational reasons for the Calhoun School of Law, as well as who the deep state actually is, go ahead and pick up a copy of the novel as it explains in great detail how the titular organization, the American Bar Association, best fits the title of deep state rather than these other entities or agencies that we tend to give the title to. So if you'd like to have either of those questions answered, go ahead and pick up a copy of the novel off of Amazon. It's available in digital, paperback, and hardcover. Excellent. So let's go ahead and jump on over to the U.S. Constitution. And like I was saying, with amendments 1 through 11, the reason I would encourage you to pause here, go back and watch those, is because, and I'm sure it goes without saying, that understanding the rights that are guaranteed to you, not granted, because only nature's God is what the founders called him in the U.S. Declaration of Independence, can actually grant your rights. The U.S. Constitution and the rights enshrined in it are merely acknowledgments of what you are bestowed, or the rights that you are bestowed upon your conception, upon your creation, upon your birth, whatever term you would like to use. The reason Amendment 10, definitely not Amendment 10, Article 10 to the Bill of Rights, crucial to know. The reason Article 12 or Amendment 12 isn't as quintessential to have at the forefront of your mind is because it's regarding electoral process, and of course you don't get to vote every single day. Before we get to 12, I would highly encourage you to get a paper and digital copy of the U.S. Constitution. Just in the case that you can't access one or the other, you still have accessibility whenever necessary to defend, or whenever the situation may arise that you need to assert and enforce and defend your specifically enumerated rights. You have the ability, the resource to do so. Okay, so Amendment 12. I got used to calling it Article 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way through 10. Amendment 12. If you're interested in when it was passed and ratified, here are the dates for those things. Side note, a portion of Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution was changed by Amendment 12. So what does the 12th Amendment actually say? The electors shall meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for president and vice president, one of whom at least shall not be an inhabitant of the same state with themselves. They shall name in their ballots the person voted for as president, and in distinct ballots the person voted for as vice president. So they get a different ballot. And they shall make distinct lists of all persons voted for as president and of all persons voted for as vice president, and of the number of votes for each, which lists they shall sign and certify and transmit sealed to the seat of the government of the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and House of Representatives, open all the certificates, and the votes shall then be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes for president shall be the president, if such number be a majority of the whole number of the electors appointed, and if no person have such a majority. Let me restate that. So rewind just a second. The person having the greatest number of votes for president shall be the president, if such number be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed. And if no person have such majority, then from the persons having the highest numbers not exceeding 3 on the list of those voted for as president, the House of Representatives shall choose immediately by ballot the president. But in choosing the president, the votes shall be taken by states, the representation from each state having 1 vote. A quorum for this purpose shall consist of a member or members from 2/3 of the states, and a majority of all the states shall be necessary to a choice. And if the House of Representatives shall not choose a president whenever the right of choice shall devolve upon them, before the 4th day of March next following, then the vice president shall act as president, as in case of the death or other constitutional disability of the president. The person having the greatest number of votes as vice president shall be the vice president, if such number be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed, and if no person have a majority, then from the two highest numbers on the list, the Senate shall choose the vice president. A quorum for the purpose shall consist of 2/3 of the whole number of senators, and a majority of the whole number shall be necessary to a choice. But no person constitutionally ineligible to the office of president shall be eligible to that of vice president of the United States. Excellent. So normally I reread those to go through them. However, given like I was saying at the beginning of a lecture, and I'm not trying to be lazy, I'm not trying to gyp you of going over this information. I'm really trying to be concise and prioritize the ones that apply to us individually every single day, what we need to know. And with elections, they don't really happen every single day. Now, whenever elections come around, study up on Amendment 12 so that way you can have it prepared and on the forefront of your mind for whenever the applicable situation arises. But because we don't get to vote every single day, I'm not going to take the time to reread it, just to show that I value your time and I don't want to waste it with rereading a very long amendment that is procedural and pretty uniquely procedural. But anyway, if you have any questions about Amendment 12, I will be happy to clarify, provide historical context, anything you need to feel comfortable in your understanding of the 12th Amendment. If you have any questions about the preceding 11 amendments, Articles 1 through 10 to the Bill of Rights, also post about those in the comments. If you have a topic you'd like me to cover in a future lecture, also post about that in the comments, because as I like to say in these lectures, the entire point of the Calhoun School of Law and these lectures being posted for free on rumble.com is your benefit, and I would rather serve that purpose exceptionally rather than insufficiently. So if you have any questions at all, do let me know in the comments and I can provide you plentiful receipts, the answers that, maybe not what you want, but the answers that are requisite, that are inferred, deduced from your questions. Excellent. So my name is Caleb Glick. I'm a certified paralegal here in the great state of Texas with the Calhoun School of Law, bringing you a lot of information that plenty of bad folks would rather you not have. And once again, these videos are for your benefit because it's not a matter of if, but when this ever-growing hostile lawfare state comes to harass you, your family, or your property, that I want you to be well-learned in information, maybe not like Amendment 12, but the preceding amendments, the future amendments, to fend off, so that way you are capable and very well equipped to fend off, defend, maybe even combat the ever-growing hostile lawfare state whenever it wages, again, not if, but whenever it wages those attacks against you, your family, or your property. So one last time, if you have any questions at all, please post them in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. If not, let me know what I can do better so I can better benefit you, better equip you, so that way you can fend off those lawfare attacks. Regardless the topic of the next lecture, I'll do my best to make it as informative and entertaining as this one, if not more so, because once again, these are for your benefit. One more time, I hope you enjoy, or I hope you have a wonderful day, regardless of when the next lecture is published. When I see you then, and until then, I bid you all farewell.